This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina League.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. This is Regina League, and I'm the owner of South Charlotte Media Group. And one of my favorite things to do is chat with business owners that are here in the community, get to know their why, a little bit about their businesses. And I'm super excited to talk to Jessica Beyer today. She is the owner and clinical director of Vida Counseling. Welcome, Jessica. How are you?
Thank you. Yes, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation, for the opportunity to, talk about my practice and what I do.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I was looking at you and your background. You've been in the mental health business for a while, but to now own two offices, you've got one in Matthews and one in Waxhaw. So tell us your journey. How did you come to realize I want to, open my own practice?
Yes. So, being a mental health therapist since 2010, graduated from UNC Charlotte, and born and raised in Charlotte, by the way.
You're a unicorn. I love to point that out.
Been here all my life. Both of my parents, they're from Ecuador, South America, but definitely a Charlotte native. And I know a lot about this area. I've seen it grow. But knowing when to start a business, it wasn't in my plan. It happened. Chain of events that, led me to just quickly form a business. So basically, I was working for a nonprofit organization in an outpatient setting. And I got laid off. And so we had 2 months of notification of like, hey, you got to go. Sorry, we're closing shop. And so for the first time, I was like, well, what do I do now? And I felt like I was in a crossroad and thinking, well, I have an opportunity being in an outpatient setting to go on my own or look for another job. And so when that happened, I still tried to apply for other jobs and didn't get any callbacks, which was like rare for me because I was used to going on interviews and, so I'm like, this is a sign. I'm like, let's see what we can do. And I had some clients from that area follow me. And I said, okay, I'm going to make this jump and start my own business. What could go wrong? I took the risk.
Well, to now have two, and I know you're super proud of your team. Tell us how you formed a team and a little bit about the group.
Yeah, so I was on my own from like 2015 until 2020. It was just me. So actually during the pandemic, right in the heart of it, I had actually downtime to start a group. That was another challenging thing because it was unknown to me, unknown to other people. When I tried to ask for, guidance from other colleagues, or like, I don't know how it's going to be during the pandemic. We only know how to start a group practice before the pandemic. So It was definitely another risk that, I was willing to take, but I knew that there was a need. And I had a gut feeling that, especially during the pandemic, that the phones were going to be ringing more, and I needed more manpower. And so in 2020, I, expanded, still in the Matthews office, but added more people to the team. And then we then expanded to a bigger office, actually, a year later. And then a year after that is when Waxhaw came about as well. And so it was quick.
I know you do in-person and virtual. Did the whole virtual thing start because of COVID?
Yeah, prior to COVID, virtual was like nobody wanted to do it.
Right.
Yeah. There was a controversy with that. But during the pandemic, it definitely was more normalized because we didn't really have a choice and people needed to start services. There was a pause there because we didn't know what was happening. But, people started to readjust. And so, yeah, virtual started becoming more common. So yeah, that's why we still offer both.
Well, I noticed on your website, you guys offer a lot of services in various categories. Kind of walk us through all the various things you offer.
Yes, so we offer individual counseling, family counseling, and also couples counseling. We offer counseling for like as young as 4 years old, all the way up to adults. We'll have therapists that just work solely with adults, other therapists that, does a mixture of, teenagers, kids and adults. So we have therapists on our team that are willing to do, focus on, various populations. And as well, more specifically too, we have some therapists that are bilingual and Spanish speaking, which is a big thing that we know that our goal is trying to increase access to mental health care for the Latino population.
That is unusual. Is that your personal specialty?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gotcha. So, what do you think now that you own 2 offices sets you apart from other counseling places?
Yeah, I think it's when I look at it, I guess it's multi-layered. Like the fact that we have Spanish speaking people on our team, from like the frontliners, admin people who answer the phone, and therapists. That is one big thing that separates us from other people, because it is hard for the Spanish speaking population to find a therapist who speaks their language. And so we are able to provide that. And I work hard to recruit specifically, therapists who speak Spanish, and others too. It's not just, Spanish speaking, but we have therapists that can accommodate everyone. But more specifically for that. And also, I have an intern program. And so I supervise interns, which is really important to note that, for those people who have a high deductible, can't afford therapy, but are willing to be seen by an intern to have even lower discounted counseling sessions, that's also help too. And not everyone has interns in their practice.
Oh, that's amazing. So in this journey of starting your own business, well, losing your job, starting one office, a second office, have there been any hardships along the way?
Well, starting the business, I think that's definitely was at a hard, well, because I got laid off. It was unexpected. It was like quick, I didn't know anything about business. In my master program, they don't talk about, how to start your business and what to do. I wish they did, but so I had to throw myself into this, self-teach myself really quick, and learn about insurance companies, which it's very complex to this day. I've been doing it for years now, but there's always still something, a curveball thrown in that, but I feel like it's worth it, even though it's hard work dealing with insurance. I still think that it's what helps, have all clients have more access to care. And that's why I do it. But I've had to teach myself all of this on my own. And I think that has made me stronger, more confident, and that I can do things on my own. I hardly ever, outsource things, only just because when I have tried, it's not the way I want it to go. So I feel like I just got to do it myself, even if it takes me a little longer.
Well, that's amazing. Are there misconceptions that you run across running a business in this industry?
Well, for mental health, there's still that stigma, although I feel like it's improved a little bit. I often hear the younger generations talk more freely about, I have my therapist, or I have my own therapist, and there's no shame around that. But not that it still exists, maybe in the older population that we're still struggling, or culturally that, if you have a therapist, something's wrong with you, or you're crazy. And we still struggle with that. And I try to educate as much as I can. And so, the way I see it is, we have our own primary care doctor, right, for physical needs, right, or a dentist, things like that. Mental health needs is there, and that's what we're here for, to help guide. And
so if someone calls your office and they know they want some counseling, what is the process to match them to the right person in your group?
Yeah, so I have an administrative team that answers the phone, and we have like a big spreadsheet that I have all my staff, my therapists and interns fill out as far as their list of experience and specialties, from the ages to many different topics. And so they have access to that to be able to at least kind of get an idea, okay, this therapist would be a better fit for you. And it can even be down to like time preference or day or, the language you speak. So yeah, it has helped streamline the process better. And so, we definitely pride ourselves into getting people in to make the experience better, because that's one thing that we've noticed. Potential clients, when they call, they'll tell us, thank you for calling me back. You're the first therapist that has even emailed me back. So when I hear that, I just, it makes, me want to like just say, okay, no, but this is what we want to stick out. We want to stick out in a way that we're not doing that we are calling people back. We are emailing people back. Because when they're calling, they need it now. They need the services. They can't wait.
Exactly. Well, it's pretty amazing what you've accomplished in a short amount of time. So when you're not running your two offices, what do you do for fun?
Well, yeah, I try to maintain a routine for self-care, but I like to go to the gym in the mornings. I'm a runner too, so I like to do some 5Ks, and occasionally I might do a Spartan race once a year if I can get the courage to do it, if I have somebody with me, or if I know, a team is going to be formed, I'll probably get more motivated to do that. But mostly what I really enjoy doing is dancing. So I'm part of a Latin dance team, and I dedicate some time, doing that. And being on the dance team just helps me unplug from work. It allows me opportunities to travel for performances, and just making new friends. And it's
what is it called? I'd love to hear more about that.
Definitely, and I'll send them your way too.
I love that.
Continued episode.
Yeah, I wish I could do those dances.
Well, there's different dance companies throughout Charlotte, and some people do various dance teams at the same time, or maybe focus on one, because it is a commitment to be on an actual dance team versus, going to classes. And so I try to do a little bit of both. I try different kinds of dances.
Well, that's a very unique side thing. I've not had anyone say that's what they do. So how fun is that? Well, Jessica, it is so nice to get to chat with you. You have a lot to be proud of. And I see you've got a fabulous website. So tell our listeners how they can find you.
Yes. So we have a website. You can go on to www.lavidacounseling.com. We also have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. And we can be reached. Our main line is 980-202-2288.
Amazing. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you out in the community.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com, or call 980-351-5719.